So what are you doing with Thai education system?
Trying to uplift Thai education system.
Don't lie to me.
Oh, not so good education.
Privilege.
No.
Yes.
I was in a local school.
Since when did we become like so serious?
since we
We're
started.
so serious, like yeah, because you're scared. Welcome to Open Agenda, the show where we'll find out what you're hiding. My name is Artie, and today I'm with Parith Thiengtham, the 30-year-old CEO of Edsy, an online education platform. Welcome, welcome, and welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being our inaugural guest. Why are you here though?
Because I got a random call a few days ago.
Don't expose me.
Told me to be here on this particular day and time. That's it. That was the brief.
That's it. I didn't tell you anything else.
Yeah.
I told you I'm gonna talk about your mission.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a tell-all show about what you're doing in Thailand.
Okay.
Are you Thai?
Yes, I am.
Of course. So what are you doing with Thai education system? With your platform?
Trying to uplift the Thai education system.
Don't lie to me.
Well, I've been studying in I study in a few places in Thailand, Singapore, and the US, UK. So I've seen fair share of good or not so good education.
Privilege.
No.
Yes.
I was in a local school. I went to a normal local school like a normal kid.
Really?
Yes.
Share me. Share them. Tell them. Are you nervous though?
A little bit.
It's okay. I'm nervous too because like this is my first show with you.
Okay. Well, it must be with me, obviously.
Okay, so like I'm gonna have you tell us about your mission again. Why are
Okay.
you doing this? The Etsy platform, and be honest.
Okay.
I'm not like liars. I'm not calling you one though.
Well, I feel English language is super critical. It's a gateway to global knowledge and opportunities. So it really impacts. If we can get English language right, it really create a big, real tangible impact to the Thai education system and population. I went to a local school while my brothers and cousins they were fortunate enough to attend international schools. So growing up, I could feel such a big gap. I felt such a big gap, and it really affect lots of things in life, opportunities in life, choice in life. So I feel that if I could contribute on this, contribute to make Thai, the remaining millions of Thais who are in traditional local schools, improve their English language, they'll be able to achieve many more. So that's why I started Etsy.
Yes, but you said that you seen a fair share of good and bad education. You went to Singapore, you went to the US, you went to Yale University for your MBA. Doesn't that sound a little bit privileged? To say that you want to fix Thai education system. How can you contribute, like seeing those fair share problems, compare it to Thailand? How do you aim to help?
Well, first of all, having been able to study abroad to overseas, that was majorly it was in part because I have good English. So that's why if we can help millions of Thai kids become more fluent in English, become proficient in English, then obviously they will probably be privileged or fortunate enough to be able to attend to get overseas educations too. And
Yeah.
in that way they'll be able to broaden their horizons, see many things. It really opened my world when I went to Singapore for my high school, when I went to the US, UK during my undergraduate studies and graduate studies.
Yeah, so English is the key for you as well as for me. Thai education, they're so lacking behind in terms of English skill. But you really think that your platform will help with that problem, improving English?
We truly believe that. When we start about 3 years ago, we were just an online platform for kids to take online classes with native speakers, English tutors in the US, in Europe or whatever. That was not affordable or accessible enough because obviously with live class, with live format, the cost of English tutor is so expensive, right? You probably need to pay like more than 1,000 baht per hour of taking live English class, whether online or offline.
How much are you charging?
Back then we charged about 400 baht per 30 minutes.
Now, is it more accessible?
Now so last year we pivot to an AI-based solution. So instead of using learning with real teachers, now we use AI coach, like generative AI English coach that will help give ask questions and then gives feedback and whatsoever, and the cost becomes like 10x lower.
Because it lower your operational cost as well.
No, actually higher cost.
Really?
Yeah, we had to hire more engineers, right? So much higher operational cost, fixed cost, investment cost, or whatever. But the price point becomes so low. It could be like a few hundreds per student per year for the whole year. And
Few
with
hundred.
live class, that wouldn't pay for even 1 hour, right?
How much do they charge a month?
Right now.
Say if I want to get on your platform and learn English from your platform.
So right now we focus on working with the schools, like B2B, business to business with the schools, because that way we can access, we can tap, we can work with millions of students. And right now it's only, so we charge the schools or the students below 100 baht per month.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Now-
80 baht per
Who
month.
are you partnering with though?
So we work with 70 schools right now, both private and public schools. We also work closely with BMA, the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration, the Ministry of Education, OBEC, Sopato, OBEC, and also the Education Sandbox in Rayong.
Oh, so that way you can really help with the public school.
Right,
Oh, and
right.
Are you helping though? Like, what are some of the concrete examples that your platform or your mission really help
Right,
them?
right. So maybe just to paint a picture, traditionally,
Without being PRC.
this is without being PRC.
No, it has been PR for a while. For 2 minutes, they're starting to like look at me like, oh, this is PR. No.
Well, traditionally, English in any English classrooms in schools, universities, or whatever, there's only one teacher giving a lecture. So it becomes a one-way teaching, right? Kids will learn vocabulary, grammar, whatsoever. They absorb, they listen, they absorb knowledge, but they never get to try to speak. That's why Thais cannot, even though we can do exams, we can pass English exams, we can never really communicate. We can never really speak fluently, right? Because we never get to practice. So what we do is that we introduce this AI coach, AI teacher assistant. So kids will still learn the traditional way, listen to lectures about, let's say today's class is about jobs. So the teachers will teach like vocab, like doctor, nurse, police, whatever, right? And then some grammar and sentences. But after students get those knowledge, so they need to practice, actually try to apply what they've learned with our AI coach. So the AI coach will ask questions like, tell me about your dream job, explain what doctors do, and then they need to try to apply what they've learned, and then self-record speaking to a device. Okay, so when I grow up, I want to become a policeman or whatever, right? And then the AI coach will check your grammar. If there's any grammar mistakes, it's going to get correct. And more importantly, it will check the whole response to see whether it sounds natural enough or not. Because I think that's the main, one of the biggest, the big pain points for Thais. Two of them
get a chance to practice.
Well, first of all, yes, they don't get a chance to practice. Secondly, for Thais who are not fluent, we don't really know, we can't really talk or speak long sentences. We only say yes, okay, 2 or 3 word sentence, short sentence. We cannot give long response because we don't have a lot of active vocabulary or sentence or whatever, right? So that's the second pain point. The third is that we often think in Thai and then translate into English. So sometimes it comes a bit off. Maybe it's not wrong grammatically, but native speakers wouldn't understand, right? So our AI coach will actually look at the initial response. After it fixes the grammar, it will fix the whole, suggest ways to improve to make the whole thing sounds more natural, like what native speakers would say. So that's actually a big help. And then lastly, students will be asked to read the whole thing, the improved version out loud, so that the AI coach will check pronunciation and accent, and then correct one by one.
What are some of the suggestions for the Thai education system? How can we really improve in terms of, English usage? If we were not to use your platform, based from your experience.
So English language is about function, not form. So instead of focusing too much on grammar mistakes or whatever, we should give students more opportunities to practice, whether with real teachers or AI or whichever programs, right? But you need to change English teaching into an interactive two-way thing. Mm-hmm. Each student needs to be able to practice himself and get feedback, because we all learn and we all learn from feedback, right? especially with skills we need to develop. We need feedback.
Back to your experience, how did you learn? So you said you didn't have the opportunity to go to international school,
Right.
while your cousins, your sibling got that chance. So when did you become good in English?
I don't think I'm still.
Look at me.
I still
Look
don't think
at me.
I'm that good in English.
Look at me.
I have my days where
No, look at me. Don't lie.
seriously. Well, it always occurs to me that I have some days I can speak fluently, and the other days I'm just like blah blah blah. I don't know what to say. Always get stuck, right? I probably pick up my English language when I was in Singapore because I went there for high school.
So that's privilege.
No, I think a lot of Thais got
Thai
scholarships.
students, I don't think they could dream of being good in English by attending Singapore school because they don't have the money to go there.
Well,
That's privilege.
That could be the case previously, but right now they can pick up English from TikTok or YouTube or whatever, right? So the world has changed.
That and what else? Yeah, technology has been advancing, and they have more ways of practicing of learning English. But like in terms of education, do you still think that it's a barrier in itself, Thai education system?
Oh yes, obviously.
How?
But I'm not an expert, so I'm just gonna.
But you're
comment on
running
English
an
language
education
learning.
platform.
I can comment on English learning part.
Yeah.
For me let's focus on that.
Okay.
So it's about changing the way English classrooms work. Instead of a one-way lecture, it should become more interactive, right? That's the key.
And that's what your platform has been trying to do.
Correct.
What about the teacher, policymakers? What are your suggestions for them to do that? Make the classroom fun.
Yeah, well, I think they've been very open since COVID. I think both the policymakers and the schools themselves, they are very open to innovation and technology now. Much easier to talk to them compared to years before this, I think.
Now you're less nervous because you're looking at me.
Yep.
Okay, so back to your mission. What is your mission? Why are you really doing this? Like starting a company, choosing education industry. Is it because that's where the money is?
No, that's not, definitely not. If I knew, I would have gone to different industries.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
education is
okay.
tough. It's a tough business unless you open international
you
schools
rich?
or alternative schools.
From the platform?
No,
Really?
I'm still broke.
But I heard that you got the first round of funding last year. Millions.
No, not that much.
Okay.
It's not a lot.
Okay.
Well, for education platforms, you only get very limited funding. If you're Web3, crypto, sustainability, whatever, obviously you will raise a lot, right? But not education.
Okay, so you were driven by your mission to change the face of Thai education, especially in English.
Right. Because English is a gateway to global knowledge and opportunities. That's the phrase I always use.
Because that's PR.
No, that's how I feel.
No, I'm just kidding. So back to that. Why? Yeah, you said you've seen a fair share of, bad classroom, good classroom from attending school abroad. But like, why? What's really the goal, the mission that drove you here? Choosing education platform, running a business in education industry. I really want to know what drives you.
I mean, obviously, I want to create impact, and I feel education is probably one of the most important thing we can contribute, we can help, right? Because there's still a lot of issues untackled, and obviously, I pick English because of my personal pain point, my personal issues. But I feel that it applies to millions of Thai students, right? I feel that if you wanna, it could be a good leverage. I mean, having English language would be a good leverage to help any Thais and also the country itself too, right? Because we have very limited stories nowadays on how country is gonna go forward. But there are a lot of opportunities outside. So if we can actually work with different countries, tap into different markets, welcome more tourists, obviously. It's all about English, right?
Yeah.
English is at the basic. Everyone talks about AI and stuff. Obviously, those are important, coding, AI and stuff.
Right.
But the very foundation is the language. It's how we can connect with people outside of Thailand. Because we are just a tiny country. We're just one country, right? And there's so many opportunities out there.
Going back to the start, you started this company before COVID. Just
During COVID.
during COVID,
Right.
2020.
2021. So I just came back from the US.
Yeah, and you were with Baker McKinsey.
No, I was never in law firm.
That was you. No, you were in consulting. No,
I was in.
after you came back from the state, and it was
Right.
during COVID.
Right.
Why starting a company during the midst
Oh,
of COVID?
okay.
Because it was cheap.
No, so I can share. So this should fit the.
Yeah, go.
This should fit the theme of the series.
Yeah.
I knew I always wanted to become an entrepreneur, but obviously the chance of being successful is very very low, right? So during COVID, I just graduated, and with COVID, everyone was just in their own place. Everyone was a hermit, right? Everyone stayed at home.
Yeah.
So if I were to start a company and it failed,
It's okay.
it's okay.
Nobody
right?
sees you.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
That's why I was fearless.
So it was a point of trying to avoid shame where you two fail
Correct,
because you want to run
correct.
a business, a company.
Correct. And if it takes off, then that's great. If
But
it doesn't, then fine. I would just go find another job.
But it took off.
But it went okay.
Was it hard? Of
Obviously.
course it was hard.
Obviously.
What was the hardest aspect of it?
I think it was when we tried to raise our initial fundraising, the seed round.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot of momentum. We got big momentum. We joined a program in Singapore, and we had a demo day. Whatever. We actually met a lot of investors. We flew to the US to meet investors. But that was when the fundraising market took a turn, sharp turn. That was June 2022. I still remember that date until I die.
Tell me.
It was when one of the biggest VC funds in the world announced that, hey, this is going to be the worst fundraising market in 15, 20 years' time. And that email set off an apocalypse or whatever. And eventually we got what they call a pool term sheet. So basically we got an offer and they cancel it.
Oh.
Which these things don't really occur in a normal time, right? So that was a big blow. But then a couple months later, not luckily, but in disguise, a couple months later, the online learning market also crashed. So if we had taken that funding, it will be a lot of pressure on us to deliver, right?
Right.
When the online learning market is not going to make it, right? So we kind of escaped that badly, and then we had the time and the flexibility to figure out what to do next, what to experiment, what to pivot into, and then we start looking into generative AI because that was everyone was moving into generative AI, and then a couple months later, ChatGPT came out. So we actually looked into generative AI before ChatGPT came out.
Okay. Let's delve more into details about that pivotal moment.
Right.
When you wanted to move your company forward into another market, professionals, college students. Yeah. What are the strategies?
Right. Well, so we start during COVID. So there was a huge appetite for online learning, online classes for kids, right? And everyone wanted to have that. But after COVID subside early 2022, obviously the appetite has gone.
Appetite
For-
equals money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Demand, money, whatever, right? So our traction, our momentum dropped, and we had to find a new way, an alternative path, right? And that was when we were able to take a step back and reflect. If we were to continue with online classes for kids, B2C, in the end, we will be only able to tap a few thousands, tens of thousands of students, because our price point would be too high for most children anyway, right? I mean, live class, it's going to be like, we charge like 1,000 baht-ish per month, right? So 10,000 per year. That's a lot for majority students.
Yep.
So the demand is gone. So okay, now we can just reevaluate what we want to do. If we want to create real impact, we need to work with schools, because if we can work with schools, then obviously we can impact like majority millions, 7 millions of students in Thailand, right?
Impact.
And the way to do that is actually to try to obviously lower costs. How can we lower costs so we cannot?
Find bigger segments.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Isn't
Well-
that like business 101? Don't judge me. I didn't go to Yale, but yeah. Oh,
we need, we need
capture,
to
like-
be innovative, right? We can't just use Zoom and real teachers.
Yeah.
We need to find some tools that can be implemented in
So you
schools.
pivoted to
The AI teacher assistant.
Okay.
Yeah. We're not going to replace teachers, right? We are supporting them with our tools.
okay. So what are some of the limitations though with your new strategies going
Right.
forward? What are some of the juicy limitations?
There are limitations, but not that juicy.
Okay, then we're not going to
Then
talk
we can
about
skip
it.
that.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. What are the limitations?
Everything goes slow, much slower than if we were to do B2C ourselves, right? If we target the end users, we can just spend more on ads,
Right.
hire more influencers, whatever, right?
It's more of
we can just
humans-
pump,
yeah.
we can just pump money.
But when you do
to marketing
B2B,
or whatever, but you can
it's more of a
it's
negotiation.
Correct. It is longer process. Everything takes time, right?
Red tapes?
Especially with the schools.
With the school or with the higher up? Government agency?
With everyone.
Juicy.
With everyone.
That's so
takes
diplomatic.
more- it takes longer time.
Sure. What else? Red tapes, longer time, negotiation. What are some of the biggest challenges that you are facing taking your company forward? Apart from those limitations that you mentioned already.
It's also time. We need more time because with innovation, with new technologies, it takes time to educate the target, the market, or whatever, right? It takes time. But we don't have a lot of time. We are startups. We are always burning money and stuff, right? So we need everything to be fast and quick. But then
But
it's
sometimes
hard.
you need to step back, breathe, just like us now, right?
Okay.
I understand that. So you're now in that phase where you take a step back and reflect again?
we're pushing forward because everyone has been very nice, very supportive, very receptive.
What is-
Schools, the government, everyone.
What is the key from your perspective in tackling this limitation? Slowness in the system. I want your unique perspective on that. You want to go fast, they want to go slow, the system is slow. What is the key? What is that catalyst?
The mass, the majority, the general public,
Elaborate.
I feel of authorities or key stakeholders or whatever, they will always be, they are aware of the general public opinions and stuff, right? So
Okay, so it's public opinion.
it's public support, it's public opinion that will drive them.
You feel like you have lots of public support now in terms of
Not yet, I would love more.
PR.
Obviously, I would love more.
Thank you so much for sharing your insight and good luck on that colossal undertaking. Well, that's it for today. See you next time. Thank you.